Hey, good afternoon, my trading people. Well, are you guys getting antsy yet? I am. I know that we are close. I know it. I can feel it in my bones. We might have just a little ways to go yet to the downside, but we are nearing the end of this local pullback, and I think very soon you all are going to like what's going to occur. Today, I'm going to go over the technicals, mainly on the Bitcoin chart, but we'll also talk about Ethereum as well. Let's get started. All right, so starting with the dollar here, as always, you can see that we have made it back up to my target of 105.6, and today, actually, we have surpassed that by 0.2%. Will we remain above that level, or will we slide back down? That is the question of the week, I guess. Now, you can see what my bias is based upon the big red arrow with the bear flag there. So I am still under the persuasion, I guess, that we are going to head further to the downside. But that remains to be seen. And this next week is certainly going to tell us that. The VIX remains low. Although I do see something here. I'm going to draw this out very quickly so you can see it as well. Looks like we've got some sort of a W pattern forming. All right, that could be, that could be an issue. If this plays out, and I don't know if it will, but I do see that the possibility is turning into a probability based upon this pattern. Uh, that could be bad news for the bulls. All right, we could be near or at the top in our market for the time being. So let's take a look at the index we've been tracking, which is the SPY, nearing our target of this inverse head and shoulders pattern. Larger inverse head and shoulders pattern here comes all the way from the start of, let's see, January of 2022 is the right shoulder. And if I move this up, you can see the head, left shoulder, and this coincides with wave 5 of Elliott's wave. All right, and it's turning into, actually is already a blow off top. Now the question is, how high do we go? The way I measured this is through taking measurement from the bottom of the head here to the neckline, and that gave me a target of 270, and that seems to correspond with the final phase of wave 5 from Elliott wave and the blow off top. Now we could surpass that 570 and go as high as 600, maybe even 650. I don't know. But I am definitely starting to phase out of the market here and moving some of my money in the market to cash. And I will continue to do that as we draw nearer and nearer to that target. Especially if this W pattern on the VIX plays out, then we are going to see a little bit of a drop here on the SPY, and this may be the trigger. Everybody knows that we are at new highs. Everybody is growing increasingly paranoid about where this ends, and so you are seeing big money. I think was just saw a video how Warren Buffett has more cash than he's had since, I don't know, .com or even earlier in his Berkshire Hathaway firm. So that's a big signal as well. All right, Warren Buffett certainly knows what he's doing. Okay, same thing applies for NVIDIA in terms of increased nervousness, anxiety as we near My target here was 148. We actually were $7 off before this most recent drop. Are we still going to hit it? I don't know, but I think a lot of traders are not going to play games and be greedy, and that's why you're seeing a drop here. All right, so yes, we still could run up and hit that final target, just like our final target on the SPY. We could still hit that final target, but we may not, as well as investors grow more and more cautious and nervous, etc., etc. Now, here's a thing. This is an ascending wedge on the Bitcoin dominance chart. We have essentially been in or near, actually remained in this wedge pretty much since September of 2022. So almost now going on a full 2 years. Dominance on Bitcoin has grown. We dropped from that once, but we came right back into that wedge. All right, so a drop from this is when, like a serious drop, and this is just a fake out here, is when I consider the altcoin market to start. And of course, where it's going to start is with Ethereum. That will be the next big alt to move. And then you're going to have the larger caps, mid caps, and some of the smaller caps are finally going to fly and just, it'll be quick. But they will eventually follow suit. So let's take a look at Ethereum here, and you can see that this projected inverse head and shoulders pattern appears to be playing out. It's not there yet, and I'm not saying it's going to be for sure. Now the question mark right here has to do with, are we actually going to wick down? Do the bears have enough strength to wick down and touch that 3,400-ish, 3,200 level, 32 to 3,400 level? They'd have to get under both the 50 and the 100-day moving average to do that. And you can see we've wicked down several times, but we have not yet kissed or licked that 3,400 mark. I think that's at 3,400, 3,200. All right, somewhere in that area. So that's what the question is. Are we still going to do that? As time goes, it grows less and less likely. It looks like these simple moving averages, the 100-day in black here and the 50-day in blue, have been supporting us enough to keep us both above each of those simple moving averages, but also around that 3,500 support. We can't really seem to confirm any move below that support. We get a candle close, but then the next candle opens and it will close above 3,500. All right, so 3,500 has been holding us very well. And if we don't come down and kiss that 3,200 mark, then we are definitely going to start to move up and form this right shoulder. And of course, there are some news items with that. I want to review that real quick. Give me just a second here. So first of all, a couple of days ago, Consensus Network announced that Ethereum survives the SEC. Today, we're happy to announce a major win for Ethereum developers, technology providers, and industry participants. The Enforcement Division of the SEC has notified us that it is closing its investigation into Ethereum 2.0. This means that the SEC will not bring charges alleging that sales of ETH, Ethereum, are securities transactions. Okay, so that news, you can see, did not really move Ethereum that much, actually at all. Ethereum just kind of continues its flat line across. All right, so it was kind of baked into the price already. Now what's happening, and I don't have the news item in particular here, is somewhere towards the end of the day, the SEC is supposed to make some more final decisions regarding the ETF. This will give traders a little bit more surety concerning price direction in the future based upon the decisions that the SEC finalizes and purports to investors. All right, so the price from here, now you can see according to the chart and the bias of the chart indicates eventually, if this is correct, we will go up. We will break that neckline. We'll go up even further to a price of 5,200. However, when these head and shoulders patterns fail, which happens 15% of the time, they fail badly. So pending whatever the SEC comes out with and in terms of news and finalized decisions regarding the ETF and instructions for the different investment firms and those creating those ETFs, obviously is going to determine the price. Everything at this point is news driven. We just try to look at the charts to help give us a little bit of an inside edge. Oftentimes, if we're good, we can read the news before it happens. I've said that before, right? So we're hoping that these charts are giving us those kind of indications, telling us which way we're going to go very soon. All right, now let's just jump over to the big dog because I want to show you something here on the Bitcoin. All right, of course, I've posted this chart many times. Those of you who follow me are very familiar with my projections here on price. And, I think before the year closes, we will be at 85, 90,000 easy. All right. Now, that, of course, is also pending that these patterns actually play out as anticipated. I have here, just like on the Ethereum chart, an inverse head and shoulders pattern. And I drew quite a few weeks ago 3 levels which the right shoulder we could anticipate a touch of. We've touched all 3 of those levels, and in fact just today we have broken below this 64.5 K level, which is also this multi-year support resistance from 2019. Now guys, I don't know anybody else that's tracking this particular trend line, and maybe there's a reason they're not anymore. I think a lot of them just never spotted it or paid attention to it. But now it is also worth consideration that this line is growing weaker and weaker. All right, so I've used the metaphor before that these candles are like a jackhammer on concrete. And the more times that we hit this and bounce off of it and break below it and cut across it, the weaker that this level becomes in terms of resistance or support. Currently, it has been acting as support. We've broken below it today, but there is no confirmation. In fact, this weekend, I'm expecting we pop back above. However, there is something to the fact some people say we will go down to a level about 60,000, all right? That coincides with the bottom of the left shoulder over here. All right. And so that level 61,000, 62,000, some people are saying 60,000, which would be this purple ascending line. And I do want to show you something. Let me get this set up very quickly because I want to show you what some chartists are seeing and counting on here. Okay, so I've hidden all my drawings, excluding my multi-year resistance / support that still, I think, is valuable enough to leave on this particular chart, as it is acting as support currently. But what some chartists are doing here is they've spotted this channel, all right? And so you can see, yeah, I guess you could consider this a channel. Kind of coincides with the purple trend line that I had drawn on the previous chart. Let me just unhide my drawings real quick. All right, see this purple line right here? Let me see if I can just leave that one up, just so that we can. All right, so that's this one here. So I'm going to go ahead and hide all of these except for the purple trend line. And we'll go back to our Bitcoin chart here. All right, so what some analysts are saying is we have popped out of this ascending channel, all right? And then what anybody knows about a significant channel, a significant line of resistance slash support is we always like to come back and retest that. All right, so what some people are saying is, well, now we're coming back to retest the top of this channel. I don't necessarily know that that's the case, and I think we've already done that, if I'm being honest here, with the top of my head on the head and shoulders pattern. So I'm not so much in that tribe, but I can see the point that they're trying to make is that we are going to come back to retest the top of this channel one more time, and it's a possibility. I'm definitely not going to rule it out. I'm just not positioned that way in terms of my bias currently. All right, so let me get all my drawings back up here. There they are. Zoom in. All right, so at this point, the question becomes, can you hold out? All right. So many of you guys know that I just removed all my stops. I'm really just tired of playing the game that the market makers are involved in right now, which is just testing patience, testing market psychology, and folding the paper hands. All right, the paper hands give all their holdings up, and big whales buy in, take a little bit more, and they take a little bit more. And with that said, we could have one last shakeout here. There's one more thing actually I want to show you. Give me 1 second as I pause. All right, and that is this liquidity chart. You can see up here in the yellow, I know it's hard to see. Actually, do I even have the price in on this thing? No. Oh, shoot. Let me see if I can get the price in while I'm doing this live. Nope, of course not. But anyways, that price is around 72,000. All right. So that price is around 72,000. That yellow area, that is where most of the liquidation damage can be done. And above that, that's where everybody kind of went short. So even though we could go down farther, the likelihood that we go up versus down at this point seems, in my opinion, to be greater, especially based upon the fact that we are using that multi-year support as support from 2019. It still is significant, though growing less and less likely. But even if we do collapse below that, keep in mind we have this purple line here, which is ascending, and that kind of coincides with that channel that I drew earlier. It's around the same price, 62, anywhere from 60 to 62,000. That would give one last flush or one last liquidation of those short-term longs, all right? And that essentially is why I have removed my stops. I just don't want to play that game. I just don't want to get liquidated. I'd rather hodl through this all and wait until this bull run, which obviously I'm quite sure is imminent, occurs. And I think we're very close. And I hate to keep, I sound like a broken record here, and you guys are all like, yeah, you've been saying this for a month. Yeah, I have been saying this for a month. Look at this. We've been in this sideways action basically since February. I mean, almost for the full year thus far. It is mid-June. And so we've been in this sideways pattern, sideways action for approximately 5, almost 6 months now. Anyways, guys, if you can just hang on with me for, oh, I didn't even have the chart up there as I was talking about that. Let me pop that up real quick. All right, so I was talking about being in this sideways price action since February. Right, that's this big candle that took us above the multi-year resistance. Get out my arrow here. That's approximately since we've just done all this up and down, sideways action. And now I think we are getting ready to shine shortly before the elections. Surprise, surprise. And I do think we are going to take off very shortly here, guys. So if you can just hang with us for a little bit longer, And this is not financial advice. Don't do as I do and take out all your stops. I'm just here to entertain you with my poor choices, as I often say. This is not financial advice at all. All right. And you definitely, I have never done this before. I just don't want to play the game. And I'm going on vacation next week. So that's another reason why. I just don't want to look at the charts and fiddle around with it. And so hopefully this explains where we're at and where we're going. Until the next video, peace, y'all.